Okay, these are the solutions to the 2023 HSC Assessment 2 Question Aided Task for Advanced Mathematics. Okay, so these are just for the multiple choice questions. The first answer was A. So when we're integrating e plus e to the 3x with respect to x, what you need to remember is e is actually a value. So when you integrate e, you're just going to get x. When we integrate e to the 3x, we're looking at the derivative of the power, which is 3. We're going to divide by that. So it's ex plus 1/3 e to the 3x plus c. So that's our first answer. Our second one. Okay, so the answer to the second one is C. So what I would suggest we do is write this as e to the x on 2, or e to the half x, plus 1, or we don't really need the 1 there, e to the minus a half x. So when we differentiate e to the half x, the half comes down the front and we're left with e to the half x. When we differentiate the second part, we've got a minus a half x, so the minus a half comes down the front, hence this part here, and then we're left with e to the minus a half x still, and that's where our answer C comes from for that one. Okay, let's have a look at 3. Okay, so we're between 4 and 1, so we've got 4 and 1 on all of these. Now we need to have the 8 out the front, so it's going to be down to A and D, possibly, but let's just see what happens, because there is a 2 at the bottom. So let's write the x2 on the bottom as x to the minus 2 and bring it up to the top. So I'll pop that in there for us. So between, oops, just get my pen. So between 4 and 1, 8x to the minus 2 dx. Let's add 1 to our power. So this is where people go and make it minus 3. When we're adding 1 to minus 2, we get minus 1. So it's going to be one of these two. And then divide by that minus 1 to get a minus 8. So this is the value that I want to have here for my solution. Okay, let's have a look at this one. Okay. Rightio. So you needed to know your theory for question 4. It says which expression using integral notation is equivalent to the area of the shaded region. So we're going to do them separately. So if we have a look at this first graph here, within the region 0 to 2, so that kicks out our first one. So within 0 to 2, we've got B, C, and D that would work. This function f of x is above g of x. So we want f of x minus g of x. So D's booted out because I want f of x minus g of x. So it's going to be either B or C. My second is between 5 and 2. So that's good. These guys are both between 5 and 2. In the second part, my g of x is above my f of x. So I want g of x minus f of x, which is why it's B, because the C is the wrong way around. So again, pretty straightforward if you knew your work. Okay, this one was not done really well. Okay, so a lot of debate I know about this one, I would suggest. So the diagram shows the graph of the function, y is f of x, so that's our curve there. It's a power of 4 and it's given us the zeros, but that's okay. Minus 1, 0, 3, and 4. And it says the area of R1 is 2, so the area below that graph is 2. The area of R2 is 3. We would like to, or we're given 2 bits of information. It's given that between 0 and 4, so between here and here, the integral of f of x is equal to 10. So if you're, this is where you really need to know what you were doing. So when we're working out the integral, okay, what happens is the area above the curve takes away the area below the curve. So we had the area below the curve being 3. So we've got something, oops, let's put it as a question mark, something minus 3 is equal to 10. So I know that, in that case, this something, which is this bit here, is going to be equal to 13. Because what the integral sign does, this integral sign looks at the area above the curve and takes away the area below the curve. So 13 minus 3 is going to give me 10. So I know this is 13 in this section. It's wanting me to find the value of, again, not the area. We're not asking for the area here. We're using the area as information to work out the integral between minus 1 and 3. Okay, so what that does then is the integral will take the area above the curve, which is 13, take away the area below the curve. So we'll have 13 minus 2, and we will have 11. Now this one I think is also from memory from the 2022 HSC exam. So you need to understand the difference between when the question is asking you area and when it's asking you to integrate. Because if it was asking you area, the difference between, the area between 0 and 4 would be 16. But we're not looking at the area, we're looking at the integral, in which case it was 10. So it's down to the language. You need to really read the questions for these.